Carolina trip is right around the corner, and I am very excited and very nervous as well.
I am very excited for it, just to be able to be in nature, just have fun with my friends.
I'm excited because I've never been on a trip like this before.
I'm looking forward to, all I can think about is food. I hope there's good food.
It doesn't seem very scary. It seems more exciting than scary. And I'm really looking forward to a lot of things that we're doing.
It's also kind of nerve-wracking because it's such a big deal, and you know, all 8th graders that come to St. Paul's get to go on it.
How do I feel? I feel pretty good about it. I'm excited, even though I have to spend a week with all of them.
Hopefully I don't get any blisters and I don't break a leg.
I think what I'm looking forward to the most is probably like making it to the top of the mountain.
On the morning of September 28th, 2019, the highly anticipated St. Paul's Class of 2020 North Carolina trip had finally arrived. At 5:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, we all arrived at school to see a large tour bus awaiting our departure. By 6 a.m., we said our goodbyes and ventured into the bus that would become our temporary home for the next 11 hours.
Bye, St. Paul.
In the beginning of the bus ride, many of us slept. But after a few hours passed, we talked, laughed, and played video games to pass the time.
Back is beat.
What? Here.
Just chilling with my friends. We're about to play a Smash Bros. Tournament.
You're gonna be
About halfway into the journey, we stopped at Subway to eat lunch and stretch.
Well, we just got off the bus and we're in Subway and we're gonna get lunch.
After 11 hours on the bus, we arrived at Camp Catalina just before sunset. When we arrived, we finally met the infamous Mr. Dave and his colleagues in their natural habitat.
So first of all, I want to say welcome to Camp Catalina. Your school has always shown up with people with great family, great heart. Y'all are just set apart and really, really good.
From the moment we met Mr. Dave, we all knew he was an extremely interesting and entertaining guy. Mr. Dave gave us an inspirational talk about how we are all different types of keys and how we should all try to do our best in life.
And if you notice, the key has low places and high places, lower places and higher places. You've seen keys, right? Yes. Let me tell you, each one of you is a good key.
He also mentioned of how we will experience many challenges this week and we should try our best by pushing ourselves a little further out of our comfort zones. After our first meeting, we were issued basic camp gear and set up our tarp shelters in a clearing under the stars for the night. As the first evening of the trip came to a close, we were tired to our sleeping bags and wondered what the coming week had in store for us.
At 7:30 a.m. the next morning, we woke to the sound of the breakfast bell ringing in the distance. We all made it down to the mess hall, and we ate delectable eggs, pancakes, bacon, biscuits, cereal, and sausage. After breakfast, we discovered that on this day, we would be doing a high ropes obstacle course in the trees. As a class, we hiked to the ropes course together, and we made a new hiking partner that morning named Cash. Cash was one of our group leaders, Miss Jasmine's charming and adventurous black lab. From watching the North Carolina video and hearing stories of the past 8th grade trips, we all anticipated the ropes course, and we knew this meant that our trip had officially started. We were ready for the challenge.
Well, we're about to get on the high ropes course. We just finished putting on all our cables. These are called lobster claws. About to get on and have lots of fun.
So we're about to get on the high ropes course, and I'm really excited.
On the ropes course, I don't do heights, but like, I'm not scared. I'm super excited for the ropes course. I think it's gonna be really fun and challenging.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do the ropes course.
I'm pretty scared.
Number one.
There you go.
up, Sam. I might get me one. Sam, pull this. Sam, pull
Oh God!
What are you doing, Sam?
I don't know what it like.
He's doing a cockroach.
Although some of us really faced our fears and had a difficult time on the course, others made it through the course without any problems. After everyone completed the ropes course, we ate lunch and then had a class about rock climbing.
Irving triangle. Same thing.
We then headed to the rock wall and started our first climbing challenge.
So we're about to do a practice climb for, I don't know when we're actually gonna climb the real wall, but we're doing a practice climb right now. And I think we're gonna do pretty good. And I'm excited. I'm not sure. Most people are excited, but I don't know. I'm excited.
Everyone aced the climbs, overcame their fears, and encouraged each other while climbing. After having a blast on the ropes course and climbing wall, we had some much-needed downtime. That evening, we journaled about our day, as well as had a lesson on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night with Miss Olivier. As the evening of the first full day came to an end, we went back to our tarp groups and we went to sleep to the sounds of nature.
The next morning, we woke up to dew-covered tarps and the eagerness of the day to come. One by one, we made our way up to the mess hall to find another delicious breakfast cooked by the lovely Miss Sylvia. Miss Sylvia was our cook while we were at camp. After breakfast, Mr. Dave informed us of all the materials we needed for a 3-day backpacking expedition. We were given backpacks and additional camping gear, and then were sent off to retrieve our personal belongings for the trail.
So we're packing up for the overnight trip on the mountain. We're going for 2 nights, and we're packing up food in our bags for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So I'm really excited to climb up the mountain.
So right now, we're about to leave for the backpacking trip. I don't know, I don't like walking. It'll be interesting. After packing and filled with anticipation, we hopped into the camp vans and drove deep into the mountains to the beginning of the trail.
So basically, we just got here. Some people lost their tarp. Our tarp is good. Lauren's got our group's tarp. But yeah, I'm fine. I'm not sure if everybody else is, but.
Hi. I'm trying to take my rain jacket off without taking my backpack off, and it didn't work. I got this far though.
We're about to go backpacking, and I'm really nervous.
So far, we just got to the spot where we're gonna start hiking, and right now, I'm very excited for it. I'm ready to begin.
Okay, so we're like wandering travelers, right? And we're going up this huge mountain. It's gonna be a big walk, right? Yeah, it's gonna be lit, dude. It's gonna be fire. We're gonna be Naruto running up the mountain, like.
We just got up to the mountain and we're about to start the hiking trip.
My 4th time doing this. Excited as the first time.
I'm so excited to be on this trip yet again, and this is such a wonderful crew.
Hola. We're about to go hiking. Yeah.
This first trail we hiked was a very popular steep hike that went to a majestic mountain ridge called the Devil's Courthouse.
So we just made it to the top of we're on a cliff, but it's a mountain. It's called Devil's Courthouse, and it's really beautiful up here. It's incredible.
When we made it to the top of the Devil's Courthouse, we gazed at the breathtaking views and took memorable photos.
I don't really do heights, but if you look at this view, it's really good. So, 7th graders now, y'all gonna be looking forward to this view. I know y'all are, especially the ones who don't love heights like me.
After leaving the summit, we got back on the trail and began hiking deeper into the forest, where we saw many amazing and unforgettable views that we will cherish for life. Over the next 4 hours of hiking, we had some great conversations and learned a lot about our fellow classmates.
We need to give people a chance to get across.
I didn't fall! Take that, Mom!
As soon as we arrived at our new home for the night, we set up camp.
There are a few roots here, but they're really small. I think our sleeping pods.
PJD, Sam, and George sleep here, also me. It's nice, snug. You can see the river and hear it when you're going to sleep.
What made this campsite so delightful was that there was so much to explore. We discovered a small hidden stream within the campsite with lots of rocks and little water bugs. That evening, we ate dinner around a warm campfire. We sang, talked, and laughed until we were too tired to keep our eyes open. With some inspiring excursions to come, we retired to our tarps for the night.
On Tuesday morning, we woke up to the sound of the gurgling river near us and the wind in the trees.
Morning. Morning. How'd you sleep?
Good.
After we all climbed out of our warm sleeping bags, we gathered river water to boil for breakfast.
This is our second day from hiking. I got a good night's sleep. I hope everybody else did. But right now, DJ and I just went to get some firewood. And right now we just got some hot chocolate. And I think after we finish this, about 20 minutes or so, we're gonna have some oatmeal, and hopefully everybody will be up by then.
After we ate, we had packed up our gear and were on the trail once again. While hiking, we passed many stunning views and crossed a few charming streams.
There.
See a bunch of beautiful mountains, a nice view, and I bet I can see some other states. We're super high up.
No, I could be a photographer.
Crazy.
So right now we're trying to lead the group to Sam's Thumb. Not that Sam. It's like a mountain type thing.
And where are we right now?
We're around here and we're trying to get to the red line intersection.
We're on 347.
After hours of hiking, difficult and beautiful terrain, we headed up a steep section of the trail to Black Balsam Knob, which was the highest peak in the area.
We have this incredible view on a rock of the mountain. It was totally worth it. It's beautiful.
When you look at that, it looks like a picture. It looks more. It doesn't really look real. Like, it looks real on my camera when I took a picture, but when you look at that, it's a whole different story.
It is.
It's really nice up here, and yeah, I'm enjoying the view.
Far off into the distance, right? I see like it looks like a W, a huge W of trees. It's insane.
Kids, this view is amazing. It takes a little while to get up, but the view is worth it. Worth it.
We're on right now on Black Balsam Mountain in the Pisgah National Forest, and it's beautiful. I mean, very high up, but it's worth it.
While we were on Black Balsam Knob, we were able to see so many mountaintops peeking through the clouds. With no taller mountains to shield us, we had 360-degree views and bared the brisk wind in our faces. It was well worth it because of the stunning views.
As we headed down the mountain and onto our next campsite, it rained a little. Fortunately, the rain stopped, and some of us followed Mr. T and Mr. Parks to a hidden and magical part of our new campsite called the Precipice.
Yeah, hunting
So what do we need to, do we want to go here or do we want to go here?
We have made it to our final campsite, the precipice, and this is the surprise they've been having for us, and it's amazing. I mean, look at this, just gorgeous. All the hills, mountains, all the vegetation, greenery. Just amazing. Speechless.
Eventually, the rest of the class found this amazing spot that had 180-degree views of the sun-kissed mountains. After gazing at the mountains for an hour or so, we were called for a lovely camp dinner.
What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What I would pay to spend a day warm on the sand. Betcha on that. They understand that they don't reprimand the daughters. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand.
And then we all returned to the precipice to see the sunset. Soon, the day came to an end as the moon creeped up over the sun. Exhausted, we all crawled into our sleeping bags and fell asleep under the trees and stars.
The next day we woke up at 7 a.m., packed up, and then set off for our next adventure. While hiking down the mountain and out of the forest, we saw many beautiful sights and pretty flowers. Our backpacking journey had finally come to an end when we ended up back at the vans. Our next adventure took us to a huge rock where we would rock climb for the next 3 hours.
We're about to climb it. Looks kind of tough, but I think I can do it. Yeah. I'm good.
I'm not too nervous. I'm a little nervous.
Mr. Dave, on belay.
At first, we doubted ourselves because of how big the rock was. In the end, we all successfully accomplished the task of climbing. After rock climbing, we packed up and drove to the famous Sliding Rock. Sliding Rock was one of the greatest memories of the trip for many of us. We all had a blast sliding down the rock into the frigid, numbing water. We did not care about how cold the water was because that was the closest thing we had to a shower in 4 days.
One group.
After sliding for a while, we had a nice dinner on the Davidson River and then headed back to camp. Over the past few days, we had a blast bonding and spending quality time with our classmates.
On the final day of the adventure, we got in the vans and took a 2-hour drive on the Blue Ridge Parkway to the famous Nantahala River. We soon arrived at a company called Brookside Rafting as we began the last challenge of this adventure, whitewater rafting.
We just took a 2-hour ride to get here, and I took a nap, so I don't really know what happened on there. But now we're getting our stuff fitted, and
I'm a punching bag.
Before we set out on the river, we were given safety instructions for our rafting adventure.
You're just liable to fall and hurt yourself. So if you're out of the boat, do as this fellow's doing. It's called...
Our 2 rafting teams were named Team Superior and Titanic 2. Once complete, we got in our rafts and traveled down the beautiful and scenic rapids.
You can feel the rolling massage of the rock. I can. Forward!
Out of her boat, so we had to save her.
The girl fell out the boat. I was trying to pull her in before anyone noticed because that she was out, but she looked like she was freezing. I kind of got swerved, so Carolyn had to pull her in without me being able to touch her to get her in. Later in the trip of this rescue, I figured out that she had a boyfriend. Like, so you'd rather drown than get saved. So that was funny.
We had a blast on the river as we had many splash fights and got all wet. About halfway down, we stopped at a famous rock called Launch Rock. Launch Rock is a giant rock that you can jump off of into the cold waters of Nantahala River. Most of us jumped several times. At the end of the river, there was one more big Class 3 rapid called Nantahala Falls. This is the largest rapid on the river. The Titanic 2 ran the rapid perfectly, but Superior got stuck and almost flipped. Luckily, they made it down safely. After successfully completing the river section of the trip, we arrived back at camp for our last night in the mountains of North Carolina.
I've been waiting for you.
On October 4th, before the sun peeked over the mountaintops, it came time for the trip to meet its bittersweet end. We were leaving North Carolina, not as quite the same people that we were before. Over the course of our journey, we met new friends, experienced new things, and made more memories with the friends that we've been with for years.
Although the nights had been a little uncomfortable, the experience made us feel more like family than we ever had before. This newfound sense of community made up for all the small inconveniences we had experienced.
We had all overcome many of our greatest fears and discovered talents we never knew we had. Even though we were leaving the mountains, beautiful views, and cool, sweet-smelling breezes of North Carolina, we had been forever changed by this amazing experience. The class of 2020 will certainly remember all of the great moments we had together.